Wow. So, first thought is it's crazy. Um, I'm kind of got my eyeballs going all over. I'm looking at the top 1%. What job do they have? Funny enough, my roommate and I were discussing about how teaching is at the poverty line and that it would be nice to have enough money to survive a month. But there's all these different rectangles with different words, and it's like an absolute mess. I don't even know where to start. Um, just well, I guess this is the full front here. So I don't know what I'm supposed to read. Zoom in, zoom out, full screen. I guess rectangles are sized according to the number of people in the top 1%. Color shows the percentage of people within that occupation and industry in the top 1%. Okay, so the darker the color, the lower they are on this line, apparently. I don't know. It seems kind of difficult. Let's read this again. Rectangles are sized according to the number of people in the top 1%. Color shows a percentage of people within that occupation and industry in the top 1%. That still doesn't make much sense. So does it mean there's more people in the darker and less people in the other ones? Well, 6,000 in that color, 97,000. So the darker the color, the more people are in it. Okay. I'm not too surprised to find physicians on here. Um, Managers, that's kind of funny. Notice how they get smaller and smaller to where you can't even read it. All industries, fabricators, and interesting. So apparently, it depends on like which you can actually zoom in and stuff, which is kind of cool. But the way the information is displayed is kind of making my eyes go crazy. A lot of like even though they're color coded and that they're smaller boxes and just it's all just squished into one area. And yes, you can zoom in, but that's just really difficult to read. Like my brain is having a hard time here. So I guess the goal is to show us what the top 1% jobs are, which could be very useful for my students considering they're in the trades program. They're interested in working with their hands. So what kind of jobs are available? Um, it's kind of unusual that managers are in like the top position here according to this section right here. That's really interesting because normally people look down on the management position when it's like Walmart or Home Depot or other places, but it's really kind of interesting that managers are so high up there. I would not have put them. Lawyers, doctors, public administrators. I could see that. Um, and notice I can't really find. Oh, there it is. Teacher. We're in the top 1%. Where? Who? What school district? Um, because that that doesn't seem right to me. I don't know. Well, okay, so yeah, it says less than 9%, less than 1%. There we go. I was gonna say that's a little unusual. Um, I was gonna say I think they need to relook at their map here because teaching is definitely not in the 1%. But if you're at like a doctorate level with maybe a college, you could be. Like if you're the dean of a college, that's still technically a teacher, I guess. Or it depends on the country you taught in, like Finland. Um, but some of these things really kind of surprised me, and it seems like I'm rambling forever and ever here, but I guess I just kind of figured that this would be. I didn't even think I'd see a teacher on here, so that's kind of interesting to me. I'm kind of like one focused with my career choice because I try not to discourage kids to go into teaching. Then they research how much money we make, and they're like, "Miss, I'm not going into your career field," and it like kills me. Um, I also think that agri-science is kind of interesting. It's so funny that agricultural occupations, oh, except farming, that makes sense because I'm like, they feed the world, so why is this so slow? But being in a farming community, I know why, because I mean, farming is expensive. just the equipment alone can bankrupt somebody when your combine costs you almost 500,000. You're not making that much to even cover that. It takes you years to pay that off. So, but that's because, like I said, I'm from a farming community originally. So I was an FFA kid. Um, so really, if we're discussing cognitive load here, my brain had a hard time kind of sorting this, and it still kind of does. But now that I'm getting the hang of it, it's a little bit easier. But I still think that, like, with it all being so small over here, it's really driving me crazy. I like having all my info in a nice linear section. So, um, overall, I think that if I gave a student this, I think they would literally shut down in 2 seconds. And it was hard for me not to shut down and kind of say, nope, not reading it. It's driving me crazy. I can't even make sense of it. But walking through it like this was really helpful.